Alright everyone, welcome back to Prime Time, and I'm stoked to take on a pretty big topic today. We're going to talk about, have I done irreversible wear and tear damage to my body? So this is a question I get asked a lot, and it really puts people into a tough mindset, an unfortunate mindset. It puts them into fear. It puts people into the state where they all of a sudden don't even feel like themselves anymore. They don't think that they can get back to doing the things they love anymore because they've got this visualization in their mind of a quite horrid picture. Let's say it's in their shoulder joint. Just for a second, imagine if this was your shoulder, what you would paint the picture as to what irreversible damage looks like. I know if I think about that, I view that the cartilage is kind of gone. I might feel some bone on bone in there. I might see a labral tear. It might be red due to inflammation and pain. And we don't really talk about this kind of stuff in terms of what we visualize that to look like. But quite honestly, that's the way I would picture it, and you might have your own kind of story on it, or maybe you have had pain or maybe been told this and you've already pre-thought about it. But I think the big takeaway right now is, this puts people into fear. And we also have to, discuss the truth. We have to be honest with ourselves. If there was a significant trauma, let's say you're skiing and you've really landed hard, and let's say you tore your ACL and MCL and LCL and you really did a good number to that. But the question is, did you do irreversible damage? We've gotten so much better in even our surgeries. Even though I'm one to help avoid people from surgeries as best as possible, surgeries have gotten a lot better. So, let's say that person that tore those 3 ligaments, they go into surgery. It's not really like they've done irreversible damage. On the research in that case, they might have a chance to have more arthritis in 10 years. But is arthritis irreversible wear and tear damage? As we get older, we're all heading toward the same space. I think we tend to neglect that sometimes. We have to be honest with ourselves. We're all heading to the same spot, right? We don't really like to think about that. What that does mean is that there will be natural wear and tear into our bodies, which is shown in the forms of arthritis, shown in the forms of disc degeneration in our spines, maybe even disc bulges, natural cartilage loss, those kind of things. I still wouldn't call that irreversible damage. Now, I know that I can't reverse arthritis. Okay, I know I can't reverse arthritis. I know I can't go in there and put more cartilage, more disc height in there. There are some promising signs to stem cells, which I think is probably the closest thing that we get. But even then, I think most people would agree you wouldn't go back on an MRI and see that there's increased space in there. So where does that leave us? Well, I think it goes back to what are we able to do still? Despite MRIs, CAT scans, and X-rays, previous trauma, what are we able to actually do? I think for me, this boils back to trying to regenerate confidence and movement. I try to get my clients away from thinking about that irreversible damage, because I've just realized helping people get back to doing the things they love is so much more than just the mechanics of it. So much of it is in between the ears. So much of it is our mindset. So I find myself constantly battling clients who are coming from other health professionals. A lot of times it is their doctor. And the doctor has told them, well, listen, Judy, you've got significant irreversible wear and tear damage in your knee. You're 65. You're not getting any younger. You want to get back to walking 3 miles, but you're going to need a total knee. And granted, there are times when the arthritis is so significant and osteoarthritis has really flared up to the point that maybe she does need it. But I'm going to say that that's lesser than more often. I think that more often than not, she's able to actually get back to doing the things she loves with really good care. And maybe it won't be overnight. Maybe it'll take 12 weeks to 16 weeks, and she'll have to put work in and maybe relearn how to walk and do some stretching programs and really start to strengthen her body. But to maximize her quality of life without going underneath the scope, because she's trying to regain confidence and movement, And she's not going to just give in to the fact that just because she's been active all her life, that suddenly, just all of a sudden, she needs a total knee surgery. In fact, in this case, I would strongly encourage her, if nothing else, to go through 6 to 8 weeks of care. You could call that prehab if you needed to, if she ended up going into surgery, but to try to maximize her prognosis, her ability to get better, even following her surgery. So we use that as a 65-year-old, but that could be the case of having a significant knee surgery when you're 25, or I actually had hip surgery when I was 23. Right? And if I were told you've done irreversible damage despite having the surgery, and I was told to never squat below 60 degrees again, what kind of a mindset is that? What kind of a life can you live if you're shackled in fear all the time because you've been told by someone who you had a lot of trust with, right? They've got their doctorate, and they sat there and told you, they looked at the MRI or CT scan or X-ray, and they looked at that diligently, and they showed you the results, and they say, you've got irreversible damage. You can't get back to squatting or lunging or working out again. Those are really impactful moments for people. When you've really got their attention, you're in pain, so your sympathetic system's up, which just means you're kind of in that the fight or flight stage, right, where you're caught up in that moment. So you really record that well in your brain, and you'll record that for maybe ever, honestly. I mean, I've had clients that have told me 20 years after their back surgery, their hip surgery, their knee surgery, and as I start to examine them, it's like, all right, Lawrence, let's see you do your squats. Oh, I didn't tell you, Chad, but I had a back surgery 20 years ago, and he told me never squat again. He told me that I've done irreversible damage, and I shouldn't do that. It's like, well, how have you been moving around on a daily basis then? How are you sitting down? Isn't sitting down into a standard 18-inch chair a squat? Yeah, it is. It really is. So my take-home point is the irreversible wear and tear really invokes a lot of fear. And I tend to help try to get people back to being confident in movement as best as I can. We want to acknowledge if there is a point where someone may need that MRI to see how significant and severe their arthritis is. There may be a point where that comes, but more often than not, we're able to help people really maximize their quality of life without going underneath the scope, because they're just doing simple things the right way, kind of relearning how to walk, relearning how to stand. We catch ourselves doing these small daily microtraumatic things that eventually add up and compound themselves, and we start to walk way differently than we did even 10 years ago. So overall, I want people to continue to be more confident. I want doctors out there and even just health professionals to be more aware of how profound it is when we tell our clients and tell people that you've done irreversible damage and wear and tear. We got one life to live. I want everyone to really, attempt, if nothing else, to do the things they love, to be as active as possible. You've only got one life to live, so let's shoot for the stars. That's my motto. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to our podcast and blog today. If you guys have any other questions or topics of interest you'd like me to tackle, shoot it at chadk@Pr1me movement.com. That's chadk@Pr1me movement.com. Just feel free to shoot me an email. Until next time, guys, thank you so much.